This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so this is Tim Pearson, Finance Director for the Town of Tilton speaking. This is the first organizational meeting of the Town of Tilton Trustees of the Trust Funds on May 13th, 2020. It's 4:16 p.m. and prior to the election of officers, I'm going to read the Right to Know Law Meeting Checklist from Governor Sununu. Right to Know Law Meeting Checklist for the Town of Tilton Trustees of the Trust Funds. As administrative help for the trustees of the trust funds, due to the COVID-19 coronavirus crisis and in accordance with Governor Sununu's Emergency Order Number 12, pursuant to Executive Order 2020-04, this Town of Tilton Trustees of the Trust Funds is authorized to meet electronically. Please note that there is no physical location to observe and listen contemporaneously to the meeting, which was authorized pursuant to the Governor's emergency order. However, in accordance with the emergency order, this is to confirm that we are A, providing public access to the meeting by telephone with additional access possibilities by video or other electronic means. We are utilizing the GoToMeeting platform for this electronic meeting. All members of the trustees of the trust funds have the ability to communicate contemporaneously during this meeting through this platform, and the public has access to contemporaneously listen and, if necessary, participate in this meeting through dialing the following phone number and PIN, which is 1-866-899-4679, and the PIN is 335-159-541. B, providing public notice of the necessary information for accessing the meeting via our website and the town kiosk located outside Town Hall. C, providing a mechanism for the public to alert the public body during the meeting if there are problems with access. If anybody has a problem, please call 603-410-7110 or email finance@tiltonnh.org, both of which will be monitored during the meeting. D, adjourning the meeting if the public is unable to access the meeting. In the event the public is unable to access the meeting, we will adjourn the meeting and have it rescheduled at that time. If you are a member of the public listening in and have questions, please write your questions down, and at the end of each topic covered, you will be asked if there are any questions from the public before the trustees move on to the next topic. Please note all votes that are taken during this meeting shall be done by roll call vote. Let's start by taking a roll call attendance. When each member states their presence, also please state whether there is anyone in the room with you during this meeting, which is required under the Right to Know law. So that is Governor's guidance for the virtual meeting. So I will leave it up to you two now. Who would like to start?
I'm Jane Alden, and I am alone.
Hey, and I'm Marie Mahoney, and I am alone.
And I am Tim Pearson. I am essentially a member of the public and administrative help to the Town of Tilton Trustees of the Trust Funds, and there is no one in the room with me. Yeah. Currently.
I may have people come in and I will announce it as they do.
Yeah, I have my son Noah coming through right now.
Hi, Noah.
Hi.
Hi, Noah.
So, all right. Well, I haven't had a response to the cell phone, so I guess it's up to election of officers for you two.
If Jane wants to, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to suggest that we table it till the three of us are here.
I guess you can do that.
Okay, I'll make a motion to that effect.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Well, you have to do a roll call vote. So Jane Alden,
Jane Alden, aye.
Marie Mahoney, aye.
okay, there you go.
There you go.
So I asked for this meeting for two purposes. One is they both relate to the MS9 and MS10 for 2019. So the MS9 is essentially, I mean, we've been reporting this for years and years on a spreadsheet to the DRA and also the State Attorney General's Office Charitable Trust Division. And there are some, in fact, I can tell you exactly how many items there are in here, but there are 100. I'm just going to pull it up so I can give you the exact count. We have a total of, if I had a drum roll, I would do it.
Ta-dam.
But here. Okay, here we go. We have a total of 496 individual trust lines. And so each one of those has a percentage associated with it. The majority of those are cemetery related. And for years, any of the income from charter trusts has been distributed to not just the cemetery, but all the other beneficiaries that are named by some of those cemetery trusts. And there's about, I want to say there's about 13 of them in total. Anything from there's about 4 or 5 churches. There's the Winnisquam School. There's the town of Tilton for welfare. There's the town of Tilton for care of the cemeteries that are other than Park Cemetery. And then but the large, and then there's also for the library. There's some that benefit the library, but the majority of them support Park Cemetery, and that's where the majority of the money goes to Park Cemetery. But it's all determined by the percentage of the total. And we go out some 12 decimal places in this worksheet because some of these are very small trusts, and they go back 100, 150 years. Some of these, so in order to properly allocate interest and to each of these trusts, and they have to be reported individually like this, accounting for interest going to each and every one of them, or dividends going to each and every one of them. The total that the charter trust account makes is then divvied up amongst these 400 and let's see, I'll give you the exact number of the there's 480 474 trusts in the charter trust portion. The rest of them are either scholarships or capital reserves. So of that total. So in any event, the 474, the money coming from charter trust is divvied up through these 12 decimal places into all these. And when all was said and done, and it took me a while to reconfigure our spreadsheet that's been used for some 12 years, and take that and put it into the state's format so that it could be uploaded into this portal, which the state requires now. So I was able to do that, and everything was fine until I got to the part where I had to click a button that says that I certify that under penalty of perjury and risk of imprisonment, the figure is correct. Well, the figure was not correct. It was off by $19.50, or $19.59, I should say. And so I had emailed back and forth with the support through Axiomatic, which are the people that do this, and for the state. And they said, oh, it's probably just rounding. And I said, well, that's great, but I'm not risking imprisonment or perjury for $19.59. I'm not clicking that button. And so going back and forth with the Attorney General's office in the Charitable Trust Division, they said, oh, well, we've never really run across that before, but yeah, it's possible. And so the commissioner, or director, I should say, said, just have the trustees vote to authorize that amount, and with the understanding that there's the difference is rounding. So he in fact, he, in his email to me, he described how his father was an accountant, and things had to balance out to the penny. He said this is less precise in effect, but still, still important. But he indicated that this was not as critical. So in any event, so where I am left is with an end of year balance of $3,248,361.14. And our balance is different by $19.59. So I guess what I would need is just a motion to the effect that that the Town of Tilton trustees of the trust funds acknowledges there's a $19.59, approximately $19.59 rounding variance between the town's calculation of the MS9 and the state's portal calculation of the MS9.
This is Jane Alden. I so move.
Second.
I
Okay,
guess
so
we need to vote now.
yes.
Jane Alden, yay. Yes.
Marie Mahoney, yay.
Okay, wonderful. All right, thank you. That is a load off my mind. I can click that button with authority now and not have to worry about it. Okay, wonderful. So then the second item, pardon me, is sorry. The second item is related to the MS10, and the MS10. Marie, you will probably remember, and I think when we talked,
it's huge.
It's huge. It's 33 pages of transactions that occurred in 2019, generated by our investment advisor at Charter Trust. And, were these just simply, buying 100 shares of GM and selling 100 shares of GM during the year, and the difference, that would be very simple. These are much more complex in that there are dozens of, if not many dozens of entries to and from money market accounts at various rates, presumably the overnight funds when something is sold, or there's interest or dividend or a bond payment that was realized, or I should say bond proceeds that were realized, that that this money is constantly going in and out of this account, and there's fractional shares of different things, what look like some sort of bonds that you can buy different fractional portions of. There's just an inordinate amount of transactions, and hang on one second, I'm getting called by one of the selectmen. So there are just an inordinate amount of transactions, and what with the police building being approved, I was concerned how long this would take me, and a couple of times I've gone at it, and basically what the MS-10 is a listing for each and every security bought or sold, showing during the year the what it was, what was bought, what was sold, and what essentially the any income from it, anything pertaining to that. So essentially a whole transaction history of the account for the year. Well, when we had met with Charter Trust back in the end of 2019, the trustees had approved Charter Trust to do this report for 2020 and subsequent years, but they Charter Trust didn't have the manpower at the time to be able to take on the 2019 report for us. So so at the time I thought, well, I can take a stab at it, and I thought I'll just start with the end in mind. I'll start with where everything was at the end of the year and just try to work backwards. And that worked with some success, but it was incredibly time consuming and confusing, and I felt as though I was going to get it wrong regardless. I was building something that the end result would be right, but it wouldn't necessarily be correct prior to that, because I'm making assumptions based on certain things. So in any case, I went, once we were past town meeting, and we had the building responsibilities, and I have a number of those responsibilities under my wing, that it became evident that I wasn't going to have time to do this. So I went back to Charter Trust, because at this point we were approaching the deadline for the MS9 and 10, and I was able to get an extension from the Charitable Trust Division for those. Also, this was part and parcel of explaining the rounding error too. And so I went back to Charter Trust and asked if they would have time, considering now that it was after the deadline, so maybe they were less busy with that sort of thing, and perhaps maybe someone had been working from home and needing additional work or something like that. And sure enough, they said they would do it. So they said they would charge the same fee as what they're going to charge for the town going forward, which is $750 a year to do the MS9 and 10 for the town. I believe it's just the 10 that they end up doing, but in any event, but they're willing to do that. And I have a letter that can be signed by the trustees authorizing that. And I thought I would have two things done. Now that letter does require an electronic signature. So I'm not sure how Marie would do that, but I would need a motion that's twofold. That so the motion would be to authorize Charter Trust to generate the 2019 MS10 and either provide that authorization through one of two methods. The first being a letter electronically signed by the trustees to the Charter Trust, or authorizing the finance director to relay to Charter Trust the trustees' vote and authorize that expense on behalf of the trustees.
Tim,
Yeah,
Yes.
I just wanted to ask you, which would be easier for you, if we designated you to do it, or if we signed it electronically?
Well, it would probably be easier if you had me do it, but they might want a letter anyway from the trustees. So that's
well, we could do both.
Yeah, and what we could do is I'm just trying to think, because you don't have a smartphone, do you, Marie? Or
No, I have a flip phone.
a flip phone? Okay, so I suppose what we could do is I could print out the letter and
Right.
send it to you, and with an envelope to send it back to the town, and then I can scan
Okay.
and I can scan it and then send it to Jane and Stan for their electronic signatures.
Way cool.
Would that work for you, Jane?
That would work fine. You want me to make the motion then?
That'd be great.
All right, I'll make a
Okay.
motion to have to allow Charter Trust to generate the 2019 MS10, authorizing the finance director to sign it, and then send send both Stan Robinson and Jane Alden a letter for an electronic signature, and have send Marie a letter to have her sign it, and allow you to authorize it on behalf of the trustees.
Okay, and you understand it's $750, which is the fee they were going to charge us from here on out each year.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
Is cheap for the size of the whole report. That's a whole year of transaction of every time any money comes in or out or they change something.
That's
So
correct.
that's a good price.
Yes.
I definitely second it.
Okay. All in favor? Jane Alden, yes.
Marie Mahoney, yes.
Okay, so moved, Tim.
Great. Okay, so I think let me just check the agenda. So the items on the agenda were the reading of our call to order, reading of the right to know statement, which we did, election of officers, which was tabled until you're all
Oh,
together. We did the
right.
discussion of the MS9 rounding. We did the approval of charter trust for the 2019 MS10. And there was, in case there were last meeting minutes or new business or other, but those could be put off to the next meeting. So, so that's
Sounds
really
good.
All right, if that's it, then I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
wonderful. Okay, well, thank you very much. I appreciate you both being here.
All right, we got
Item.
I approve the motion to adjourn. Jane Alden, yes.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Marie Mahoney, yes.
All right, thank you, guys. Tim,
Hey,
you let
thank
us
you.
know when we need to meet again.
What's that?
You let us know when we need to meet again.
Yeah, I would think when Stan is back in town, if he's out of town, so that you don't let too much time go before you have an organizational meeting. I know that the selectmen will probably be making a request of the trustees soon to withdraw money from one of the capital reserve funds for some
Okay.
work being done on Cedar Street.
Okay.
But so maybe a month from now, maybe in June, probably need to meet again. Okay,
And elect officers and
Okay.
so on. Okay,
great.
thank you.
All right, well, thanks very much. Good talking to you both.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.